Number 10. Batman Vengeance. Batman Vengeance came out in October of 2001. It was made by Ubisoft Montreal and published by Ubisoft. It is an action-adventure game that does okay. It is known to be an average game with stale combat and some glitches. It is even hard to figure out what to do at times. Even though it has its shortcomings, it has its positives as well. One of them being that it has a good story and great cutscenes. The graphics stand out well and it gives you the feeling that it's part of the animated series. When fighting, it is mostly one-on-one, but you can be surrounded by multiple enemies. You focus on one and take down the others. One unique thing about this is that you can use bat cuffs to keep them down. Kind of interesting since this is the only game I can think of that uses them. Number 9. Batman. Batman the video game came out on February 13th of 1990, just a bit after the movie came out. It is also based off of the movie. It was made and published by Sunsoft. It received positive reviews when it was released, and I can see why. Though it is difficult, it is also a fun game that utilized what Batman is capable of at the time. There are 5 levels to go through, each ending with a boss. As you can guess, the final boss is the Joker. Again, these villains don't seem to have much to do with Batman himself other than Joker, but is that Firefly? Maybe it's just my imagination. You collect ammunition for your batarangs and other weapons from defeating enemies. Something that is also unique is the fact that you can jump from wall to wall. Quite nifty. Utilizing your arsenal is your best bet at getting through this game, but even the platforming can be daunting. Be prepared to retry a lot, especially at the end of the game. Number 8. Batman: Return of the Joker. Batman: Return of the Joker came out in December of 1991. It was developed and published by Sunsoft. Sunsoft came up with some great music for the game. It's still catchy to this day. Oh, but I know what you're saying. It's Batman Contra. Yes, it is. However, I fully enjoy this game, and even though it doesn't really do anything to make you feel like the character, the game is fun. The game is a challenge. You can change what your gun does by collecting emblems with a letter on it. You can change these letters by shooting them. Each stage will test your platforming skills, and that dreadful slide mechanic will test your patience. It really is no joke. At the end of a stage you will fight a boss. Most don't seem to be related to Batman at all aside from the Joker, the main villain of the game. Some of the enemies in the game are just odd. You'll go against humans, but you also go up against spiders and what seems to be sorcerers. Those f***ing tornadoes. If you persevere and get to the end, you'll definitely feel accomplished though. I can understand how people can easily get frustrated with the game. Number 7. Batman Returns. Batman Returns is a beat-em-up made and published by Konami. It is based off of the movie of the same name. Its style is similar to those of Final Fight. There isn't a lot to it. You have batarangs which you can use, and you have a special attack which seems to be dropping a test tube to do damage to all enemies. There are 7 scenes in the game that go through different scenarios in the movie. Just starting out, you may not notice the difficulty too much, but by the time you make it to the first boss, you'll realize just how difficult the game can be. The graphics are nice and the quality of sound is excellent, at least to me. It captures moments of Batman Returns quite well. They did a good job of making each enemy their own. That is definitely something to be said during a time where there were a lot of beat-em-ups. Number 6. Lego Batman. Developed by Traveler's Tales and published by Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment, Lego Batman is an action-adventure game, but in the form of Legos. Anyone that is familiar with the Lego games knows that it is jam-packed with characters and unlockables. You can play a huge variety of characters and any character you unlock after beating the game. Due to it being a Lego game, there is comedy to it. It doesn't take itself too seriously, which offers a fun experience. Every once in a while, it is good to get away from the seriousness that is Batman. All the villains have escaped from Arkham, and now you have to put them back where they belong. The Riddler goes after the Gotham Reserves along with Two-Face, Clayface, Mr. Freeze, and Poison Ivy. The Penguin wants to take control of Gotham and is helped by Catwoman, Bane, Killer Croc, and Man-Bat. The Joker intends to spread his laughing gas across Gotham. Helping him is Harley Quinn, Mad Hatter, Scarecrow, and Killer Moth. There are 15 levels for the hero role and 15 levels for the villain role. I did say they filled this game to the brim with all kinds of stuff, right? The game isn't really hard, but it is more about exploring and finding stuff along the way, while figuring out how to defeat the unique bosses in the game. Number 5. Batman Begins. Batman Begins is a stealth action adventure game based off of the movie of the same name. It came out in June of 2005 and was made by Eurocom. It was published by EA Games and it uses the Mortal Kombat 4 game engine. It received an average score from critics at the time. The game has some interesting mechanics when it comes to stealth. Most notable is the fear and reputation mechanic. By sneaking around and using your environment, you can set off all kinds of things to scare your enemies. Targeting enemies with weapons is the first thing to do. Take them out and the rest is easy. As you progress by doing this, you gain reputation, which makes it even easier for enemies to fear you. The story is the same as the movie. In fact, the cutscenes are actual scenes from the movie, but with a voiceover to fill you in on what is happening. The game is good at what it does, and I can see why it is given an average rating. The new mechanics are fun and work well. It is a part of Batman that we don't get to see often, but it makes sense since that is how the movie goes. A lot of stealth is used and you actually get to feel like this version of Batman. Number 4. The Adventures of Batman and Robin. The Adventures of Batman and Robin was released for the Sega Genesis in August of 1995. It is based off of the animated series as it says in the title. It is a side-scrolling action game, but instead of it being a beat-em-up, you have one of 3 throwable weapons: batarangs, bolas, or shurikens. This game was made by Clockwork Tortoise and published by Sega. Now that we have that out of the way, the story is pretty simple. Mr. Freeze plans to freeze the city. To do so, he frees Joker, Two-Face, and Mad Hatter to keep Batman and Robin busy. Both Batman and Robin are playable. You can choose either one or play with a friend as it has 2-player co-op in mind. Getting back to the weapons, they have upgrades if you get the same one every time. I loved getting the bullets as they seem to do the most damage. Batarangs work really well for keeping the screen contained. I really have no idea anyone would use the shurikens. Seems super weak to me. Many would say that it's similar to Contra, and I think I'd have to agree, but it's fun. Most levels offer a change of scenery, and you'll be going from left to right with new obstacles to get through. However, there are some major differences. You'll climb a building to get after Two-Face and be on your glider to finish the capture of him. Not as much variety, but hey, it's very entertaining. Number 3. The Adventures of Batman and Robin. Released in December of 1994, The Adventures of Batman and Robin is loosely based on episodes from the animated series. How cool is that? If that isn't enough to get you involved in the game, then I don't know what is. It was developed and published by Konami. When I say, Konami puts out some amazing games. The Adventures of Batman and Robin is an action platformer which captures Batman quite well. At the start of each mission, you can choose which gadgets to bring along with you. When starting, there is a preset equipment for you to take, but you can choose whatever you wish. Each boss is unique and offers its own unique challenge. Joker, for example, takes place on a roller coaster. You'll be dodging bombs that are thrown at you and some other hazards while you ride. When you get past that and finally meet up with the Joker, you get to perform some hand-to-hand combat. Poison Ivy hides behind a plant creature of hers. They made sure that personalities of the villains are intact. You get debriefs between each mission to let you know why you go to that level and what is going on at that time. A strong pick for any Batman fan, but be warned. Like all old school games, you'll have to retry quite a few times until you understand how to get through and fight the bosses. Number 2. Batman: Rise of Sin Tzu. Batman: Rise of Sin Tzu, released in 2003, is an action beat-em-up game made by Warner Bros. Interactive and published by Ubisoft. The story focuses on a new villain known as Sin Tzu, which was made for this game in particular. It takes place in the Batman animated series universe, which adds to the fun. Anyone that enjoyed the series should definitely enjoy the game. You can play up to 2 players co-op because that is the way it was back in the day. Throughout your adventure, you'll come across notable villains on your way to take down the main villain, Sin Tzu. They are Scarecrow, Clayface, and Bane. As you go through the levels, you'll be able to upgrade your characters and even earn some special things to unlock in the game. It also features various difficulty levels: Easy, Medium, Hard, and Dark Knight. Dark Knight being an unlockable difficulty. One little fun fact about this game is that Sin Tzu was, in fact, created by Jim Lee. If anyone knows Jim Lee, his designs are amazing. Number 1. Batman: Arkham City. The sequel to Batman: Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, came out in 2011. It made advances off of the first game, such as being able to counter multiple enemies at once. It was made by Rocksteady, which is known for making their own style of combat, which they deemed free flow. You actively feel like you're Batman in the series, but Arkham City I think is at the height of the series. The story revolves around Dr. Hugo Strange. Also involved in the story are the League of Assassins, which grants you a meeting with Talia and Ra's al Ghul. There are many side stories to the game as well. Riddler makes his return, in which you have to solve all kinds of riddles. There are a ton of these in the game. The gadgets work perfectly in line with Batman, and the stealth makes you feel as if this is how Batman really moves around. It really probably is how he works in the shadows too. Can you imagine any other way for him to get the drop on the villains? The series is just packed with side stories, Easter eggs, and guest characters. You can't really go wrong with any of the games in the series, but if I had to choose, I prefer the gameplay of Arkham City. Thank you for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. See you in the next video.